NBC 10 breaking news.
I'm NBC 10's Tracy Davidson. We're coming on the air right now with new details on that deadly mass shooting on Philadelphia South Street. Right now, District Attorney Larry Krasner is speaking. Let's listen.
Like it has been her entire career, and the only reason that she was not here this morning at the press conference is that she had to be on South Street itself, where she's working hand in hand with Philadelphia Police Department, ATF, and other law enforcement partners to make sure we gather all the evidence and that we evaluate it correctly and we move on it. There are some developments. I'm going to ask ADA Pescatore to come forward, provide the information that she is able to provide, and there is some. She will be holding back the information she should not provide, and there is some, although it will become, a lot of that will be clarified within the next couple of days. And after she's concluded explaining to you some of this information, you should feel free to ask her questions about the investigation. I will obviously also be available. Joanne?
Thank you, DA Krasner. Good afternoon. The District Attorney's Office has approved warrants for 2 individuals with regard to the incident that took place on South Street this Saturday night. One of those individuals is currently in custody. The other individual is not. I will only give you the name of the individual who is currently in custody. The other I will not. The individual who is currently in custody, his name is Quran, Quran, Garner, Garner. He's charged with multiple offenses, including aggravated assault, 2 counts, and aggravated assault on law enforcement officers, 2 counts as well. There is another individual who an arrest warrant has been issued for. I will not reveal his name at this particular time. I was on South Street today, and it is approximately a 2-block scene. It starts at one end of South Street and works its way down to South and American Street. I was with the homicide detectives who have worked tirelessly since Saturday night, since this job came in, along with ATF and other law enforcement agencies trying to figure out what exactly happened here. There is numerous video, as you can imagine. There are numerous cameras on that 2-block radius. Various videos have been pulled. There are no murder charges at this particular time. That investigation is still ongoing. When I tell you they are culling video and going through it as we speak, there is still video coming in. The neighborhood has been quite cooperative. When we were out there, people were coming up to give us information and to tell us whatever they knew. And I'm going to ask if anyone has any information, please call the homicide unit, 215-686-3334. The assigned detective is Matthew Farley. You can talk to him or anybody else that is working, and they will take your information.
What do you believe Garner did?
Quran Garner is on video shooting back toward the area where the initial confrontation takes place between Gregory Jackson and Micah Towns, who is a victim in this particular case. Quran Jackson, it's our belief, was a friend or was with Micah Towns when this initial altercation starts. After the initial altercation, guns are drawn by Gregory Jackson and Micah Towns. Gregory Jackson shoots at Micah Towns first. Micah Towns returns fire, shooting and killing Gregory Jackson. As a result of that, Quran Garner then begins to fire down the street toward South Street, toward where the initial confrontation took place. It is at that point that Philadelphia police begin to shoot after Quran Garner pulls a gun, has the gun out and looks in their direction. They shoot at him, shooting his hand. He's currently at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital undergoing surgery for a result of injuries sustained when the police shot back at him.
He's the dude with the hat. Garner's the one wearing the hat in that video. Has he got a hat on, smallish? And how old?
How old? I don't have his age. I don't know that he has a hat on. The video I saw, he's wearing what I would describe as a balaclava. It covers his entire head. One could possibly wear it as a COVID mask and a gray hoodie.
What do you know about the gun? The gun that he used? What can you tell us about the gun he used?
The gun that he used was left at the scene. It is a ghost gun, and it did have an extended magazine.
The other charges in the other warrant, what are those charges?
The other charges are going to be attempted murder, aggravated assault, simple assault, recklessly endangering another person, conspiracy, violation of the Uniforms Firearms Act, possession of an instrument of crime, tampering with evidence, and obstruction of justice.
So may I just back up for the sake of clarity for everyone here? Now, ADA Pescator, if you're not comfortable answering this, just tell me, because you are the keeper of the investigation. But you mentioned 3 different names: Gregory Jackson, Micah Towns, and also Karan.
Yes.
Can you explain for the journalists who are gathered here what role each of these people played in the initial encounter, if any, and what is their condition now?
Okay, certainly, D.A. Krasner. So Micah Towns is walking down South Street. You can't tell if he's with Karan Gardner at that time. They're in close proximity to each other. At some point, he passes by on the same side of the street Gregory Jackson and 2 other men, one of them being the unnamed person who the arrest warrant is for. As he's passing by, words are exchanged. As words are exchanged, then Gregory Jackson takes a swing at Micah Towns, striking him in the face. It's at that point that the other male, who we have an arrest warrant for, begins in the melee at that point. Micah Towns is then thrown against a window while they are beating on him. At some point, you see Gregory Jackson, who did have a permit to carry, pull out a gun, and he has the gun at his side. Micah Towns is in the middle of South Street. At that point, Gregory Jackson begins to fire at Micah Towns, Micah Towns, who also has a permit to carry, pulls out his gun and shoots back at Gregory Jackson, ultimately killing him. It's at that
Ultimately killing whom?
Gregory Jackson. It's at that point that the unnamed person, who there's an arrest warrant for, picks up the gun that Gregory Jackson had and gives it to another male in a blue hoodie, who then leaves the scene. That unnamed male still stays at the scene, putting pressure on the wound of Gregory Jackson, and gives his name to police and where he lives and all his information. It's at that point that Karan Gardner then begins firing down South Street in the location where this melee took place. And then after he stops shooting, the police, when he turns his gun toward them, fire at him. And then you see Karan Gardner run down American Street saying out loud, "He shot my hand off, he shot my hand off." Karan Gardner then makes his way to 4th and Bainbridge, where there are police positioned there. There had been an earlier shooting at 4th and Bainbridge approximately an hour before that. Police were at that location for that shooting. Karan Gardner approaches the police and tells them, "I got shot during this incident." They put him in a patrol car and take him to Thomas Jefferson University Hospital, where he is at this time. Micah Towns is in serious condition at this time. He is at Penn Presbyterian Hospital, and that's why the charges with regard to him as a victim are attempted murder.
You believe Mr. Gardner was shooting at the direction of Mr. Jackson in order to defend Mr. Towns?
That is the belief, except that Mr. Jackson was already down, and that particular incident was clearly over probably 20 to 30 seconds when Karan Gardner then begins to fire down that street.
I just want to clarify, because it's a little confusing again. You talked about Micah Towns and you talked about the attempted murder charges, but we're not talking about Micah Towns being charged.
No, Micah Towns is not being charged in this case. He's not.
As we continue to hear answers to questions, as we're really getting a lot of information about exactly what happened on South Street, we have live team coverage as we begin NBC 10 News beginning at 4.
He's actually laying in the middle of the street when he's shooting back at him.
NBC 10 News starts now.
New at 4, video just in of the chaos during a mass shooting on South Street. 14 people hit by gunfire.
There were at least 4 guns.
3 people are dead, including one of the shooters.
There's blood just gushing down the back of my leg.
Now to the search for answers.
I think a curfew should be in place.
And a renewed push to tighten current gun laws. This as the anger and frustration builds.
I am furious, not just for my neighborhood, for the whole country.
And it gets you.
And we just learned a lot of new information about what happened that night. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Tracy Davidson.
I'm Jacqueline London. An 18-year-old is in custody and expected to be charged soon for the mass shooting Saturday night. An arrest warrant has been issued for a second person. Let's get right to NBC 10's Jim Rosenfield anchoring our coverage today live from South Street. Jim.
Jacqueline and Tracy, we just heard that new information from the district attorney's office live as you all did at home. I'm here on South Street where it's a beautiful Monday afternoon. It feels like everything is back to normal, but there is certainly an undercurrent here, a level of concern among shop owners, among people who live in this neighborhood about what transpired on Saturday night. So here's what we know. At this hour, this is a fluid situation, but just moments ago, you probably heard the prosecutors announcing that one person, Karan Garner, is in custody, and he's facing numerous charges, and they include aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. Police say he used a ghost gun to open fire, and officers fired back, hitting him in the hand. Now, he's the first person arrested, but we now know another arrest warrant has been issued. That person's name has not been released at this point, but 34-year-old Gregory Jackson, 27-year-old Alexis Quinn, and 22-year-old Chris Minners were all killed Saturday night. Investigators believe Jackson was involved in a fight, as you just heard with prosecutors, a fight with another man, and those two began firing at each other. Garner is facing multiple charges. Listen.
Karan Garner then begins to fire down the street toward South Street, toward where the initial confrontation took place. It is at that point that Philadelphia police begin to shoot after Karan Garner pulls a gun, has the gun out, and looks in their direction. They shoot at him, shooting his hand. He's currently at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital undergoing surgery for a result of injuries sustained when the police shot back at him.
During all this violence, a number of other people were hurt. The victims who survived, they range in age from just 17 to 69 years old, all of them believed to be innocent bystanders. Now, the DA, Larry Krasner, said at least 4 guns were involved in these incidents, but it's possible more guns could have been contributed to the violence, and they are still looking for those weapons. We have a team of reporters digging into all angles of this ongoing story. NBC 10's Rosemary Connors spoke with lawmakers about the ongoing push for some kind of gun reform. But let's begin with NBC 10's Tim Furlong, who is live here along South Street with me. I know neighbors, Tim, shop owners really concerned about what happened.
Yeah, Jim, I'm a few blocks away from you. Everybody's really concerned. But just think about it. 10 years ago, we cover a story like this, the whole city would shut down. It would be stopping in its tracks. Today, you see what happened here. This is where one man lost his life in front of a Rita's water ice. You look up there, there's a bullet hole in the glass here. There are evidence markers all over the place. It was a Saturday night on South Street. Everybody was out just to have some fun. That's unfortunately how numb we've all become to mass shootings in Philly and around America. By early Sunday morning, firefighters were washing away the blood. By Monday morning, South Street felt pretty much back to normal, except for the small memorial of candles and flowers at 3rd Street, all the national TV crews, and everyone still talking about what had happened here Saturday night. A viewer gave us doorbell video of people fleeing from the area around 2nd and South. One man limped by saying he was shot in the leg.
We heard the gunfire, and everybody, we just went inside and locked the doors.
Sam owns his and hers restaurant and saw the crowd run by when the shooting started. He and other business owners tell me there were a lot more young teenagers on South Street Saturday. Some businesses even closed up early because things were getting rowdy.
They were running up and down South Street all night long. And I had a gut feeling saying this doesn't look good because they're drinking Hennessy on South Street out of a bottle, and there's cops all around, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Some store owners tell me on weekend nights there are plenty of cops, but they don't always walk the street enough to address things before they get out of hand. Detectives and prosecutors here touring the crime scene on what has traditionally been a street known for fun. This morning, they're still trying to piece this whole thing together as this guy wore his orange to make his own stand against gun violence.
This is so sad to see in my neighborhood, to see the violence. All we have to do is love. Love is the most powerful substance.
Yeah, and back live, you see on South Street we haven't had any rain. There's chalk everywhere. It looks like there was hopscotch being played here, but it's not. We've seen kids in strollers going by. They look at it. It's just all evidence markers up and down South Street. It's out of control, and people are walking by and just shaking their head. And some business owners say they're getting to the point where they're thinking that it might be time to take their business away from South Street. They don't want to have to close up early just because they think it's going to get out of control. So we're going to hear much more on that coming up at 5:30. Jim, back to you.
All right, Tim, such a popular spot for anybody in Philadelphia and people who come to visit the city. Thank you.